Hi, my name is Ron King, and this is a series of chats about situations in my life and how I've shown up for them. Sometimes gracefully, very oftentimes not. The format is a short conversation moderated by a woman named Libby Delana, who I just met, and I don't know her. She doesn't know me, and the chats are unscripted. She has had a number of conversations with some people close to me. She starts every episode with a question, and I don't know what that question is. My response is in real time. Her reaction is in real time. And we've recorded the conversation to share with you. When this project started, I wasn't sure what I was doing or why I was doing it. And in fact, I was very nervous about it. In the end, I realized it was incredibly therapeutic and helpful for me to say everything that I've said out loud, and to acknowledge sort of what I've been through and who I am as a result. If in turn it is helpful to anybody, then it's worth the time and it's worth sharing. So I hope you enjoy. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's almost afternoon here.
Yeah, it is. It feels like it's almost afternoon here. It occurred to me, I was talking to somebody the other day. Oh, and I was tired at noon, and they asked me how I was tired, and I said, "Well, when you're a farmer, you worked a full 8-hour day by noon." So
Right.
I have been up. I'm 5 hours in. So
We're probably matched in that. Yeah, we're close anyway.
yeah.
Well, so I have a question for you. And I feel like I have a personal connection to this, so I'm really looking forward to hearing your response. And this comes out of a couple of conversations with some of your nears and dears. Um, and I don't know if there's one sentence question. I'll just sort of build the scenario. So,
Yeah.
um, what many people say about you is that you hold this belief that anything is possible, and honestly, anything is doable, and that reinvention is both terrifying and thrilling. Um, so talk about that. I think especially during these sort of pandemic-y times, everybody has. I shouldn't say everybody. Many people have been exploring the idea of reinvention, or what does it mean, or what is that personal inquiry about who I am, what to your beautiful way of thinking about it. Let's make sure that there's no regret. Um, I don't know. So talk to me about reinvention. Talk to me about anything's possible. I think they're linked, although they don't fit into one neat little question.
Yeah.
So
No, I totally get it. It'll be a interesting conversation. So I have reinvented myself multiple times in pretty drastic ways. And so when you look back at all of the different people that I have been a lot of different people. Um, and both physically, career wise, and sort of passion or lifestyle wise. Um, I physically, I look at least like three distinctly different people. Um, but it's interesting that when I think about it all, so none of it was really intentional. So, well, let me back up. I believe very much in the power of language, and outward verbal language as well as silent language that we talk to ourselves. And I think that language is very powerful. I think that the choice of our words are very powerful. I also think that the decision to be someone different seems like an enormous, very difficult, once in a lifetime, dramatic event. When my experience has been that it's a sentence and it changes everything. So I have tweaked and altered who I am every couple years through my language. So I remember through all of high school and part of college, I told so many lies. I was just a liar. And I don't really know where that comes from. I mean, I think in middle school, I mean, first of all, I was hiding being gay my whole life, so that's part of it. In middle school, my father was a Southern Baptist preacher, and I was really embarrassed about that. And so I lied about who he was. But like, I was a young, stupid kid. Like, I would tell the most outrageous lies. I can't even remember now, but like,
Mm.
I wouldn't say he was the president of the United States, but I would say things that were like so completely unbelievable that like, and so people really picked on me, and I was always getting caught in lies, and I was known as the liar. Um, and I remember when I moved and I took the opportunity of a move, and I just said at a very young age, I don't want to be a liar anymore. And if I don't want, mostly because I don't want all the backlash I'm getting. And if I don't want to be a liar, then I just need to stop telling lies. So I'm not going to tell lies anymore. Um, and I bet I was 15, and with a few slips from here and there, I have been a truth teller since then. So it's like when I decided to live a life with integrity, I didn't do a whole big thing. I didn't go away on an ayahuasca weekend. I said to myself, I have integrity now. And then I lived a life with integrity. Like, so I think language is a big part of it. And, I if we don't want to be on
I love
the
that.
having our
Yeah.
rocking chair moment and regretting who we were, how we showed up, what kind of life we lived, a lot of it has to do with what are we saying to ourselves, and do we have the power or the curiosity or the discipline to claim a different path. um, and so I did it with integrity. I did it with being on time. I used to be late everywhere, and I just said Ron King is a prompt and reliable person, and that's all it takes. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big secret. Like, and then you have to do it, but like, you just declare it for yourself. So, um, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day who's facing a big decision, and he was like, "Oh, it's big and scary, and it could go wrong, and it could do this, and this might not." And I said, "Look, all of that shit will probably happen but like, it could also be really exciting and a new opportunity and a chance to explore and do. It could be an expedition." So I think a lot of it is the language that we use. So that's part of it. Um, and then, another. So there's probably four fundamental theories that I live my life by, and I have shared with you in other episodes really dark periods that I've been through. And in those dark periods, I question those principles, right? So I'm like, I really thought those were the answer. Like, I really thought I was doing things right, but my life is fucked. So I must not have been. But of course, you get through it, and then you realize that was just a glimpse. That's not even a word, but we'll make that a word. That was a glimpse. Um, and yes, those are my principles. So one of those principles, and these are all things that were taught to me by wise people. These aren't things that I made up. Um, one of them is keep putting one foot in front of another, keep taking the next indicated right action, keep making the next indicated right choice, and you will end up where you're supposed to end up. And, this Richard Colbert was the person who taught me this. He's been a mentor my whole life, well, my whole adult life. And what he taught me was, there's this concept of like, write down your dreams and wishes and put them in a box and put them away. But if you do that, likely with what you know today, you will likely sell yourself very short. So instead of like writing down where you want to be in 10 years, why don't you figure out what you should be doing the next 5 minutes? And then after that, what should the next hour look like? And just keep making the next indicated right decision. Like, we are faced with decisions all day long. And every decision we make, if we just keep trying to make the right decision, and we will make wrong decisions, as I have shared with you, that will take us way off course. But then you just start making right decisions and you get back. And that journey of one foot in front of another, taking the next indicated right step, making the next indicated right decision, your life goes unbelievable places that you can never have dreamt of. And so a lot. Sorry, I think I have a donkey outside of the pasture.
Okay.
Oh no, he's just in the corner. Sorry. A lot of my reinvention wasn't me saying with all of my infinite wisdom, oh, I think it'd be really spectacular to live a life as a blah blah blah, or oh, I really want the opportunity to parent somebody. Like I never came up with those, but every day I kept making decisions. And when I made bad decisions, I tried to make right decisions, and all of those things unfolded. So the reinvention was not intentional, nor was it a vision or a foresight that I had, but the reinvention happened because of the way I choose to live my life today. Which is why I've often felt like my life was a book that I'm reading, and I'm really interested to see how the next chapter looks like, because I actually don't know, and I surrendered that idea of knowing the next chapter a long time ago. Um, yeah, so that was my path to reinvention.
Yeah, and one could argue that I love the point about language being. It's almost like that's the first step is saying it out loud, right? And that
That's right.
that defines something. And I also think there's a possible way to even hold this notion of going off track as being a mistake. You didn't say this, but I think people can think, oh, I went off track. That's a mistake. No, one could argue that's an essential path. That's the only path, so that you learn that to then come when you get back on your path, you actually come to it with much more understanding. And thank
It's
goodness you had that diversion. And the way I like to sort of frame it is, take the scenic route. Always take the scenic route. It might not be the
yeah,
straight line, it might not be the straight path, but gosh, you know what? You saw something in that diversion that maybe was essential to this next part of the path.
that's right. And I don't even mind in my own life calling a lot of those mistakes. I don't mind the use of the word mistake. I think what's important is that it doesn't mean anything,
Right.
right? So
Right.
just start making different decisions. It doesn't define who you are now, or define what your life is going to look like. It is just something that happened that doesn't actually mean anything, and start making different decisions. That's all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
What's
it's
interesting.
it. I think life would suck to be stuck, and I think it's very easy to get stuck, and you get stuck in either being a victim or beating yourself up for making bad decisions, or you can get stuck in a number of different ways that I don't want to. I have felt stuck at times in my life, and I don't want to belittle how difficult it can be to get stuck, but it really sucks. And I believe there is a way out. You just start going back the other direction little by little.
Well, it's interesting because someone I spoke to said you're a person of beautiful contradictions. And I think that summarizes what you just said, which is right. So I made that turn. That turn didn't, was a mistake, whatever you want to label it. But guess what? Now I'll just make another decision. So those contradictions, in a way, are what makes this life really vital and really kind
That's
of
right.
thrilling. Right?
That's right. And we've talked about this many times. Like, of course, I'm full of contradictions, and of course, I am confident. And of course, I am ridiculously insecure. And of course, I am, you know, happy, super happy, and also lonely. Like, that's life. Like life, you are multiple things at multiple times. Um, and yeah, I mean, my whole point is that nobody knows, nobody has this shit figured out, and so just just do the best you can, be the best you can, um say the best things you can to yourself, um and live a life that won't be full of regret, and that is full, um and give yourself breaks and allow yourself the contradiction,
Yeah.
like, yes,
Yeah. Well, thank you.
of course. I'll talk to you later.